very briefly. In the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after he passed away, he already set the standards of what it means to be a Muslim. What is expected from you and what you expect from your Lord. What is expected from you, what you expect from society. These things were put in place. So now those people who came after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they couldn't say, we're not Muslims. But they knew if they carried on by the teachings of Rasulullah, they won't stand to benefit at all. So what did they do? They kept the name of Islam, but they changed the tenets. Today, we see in the Western world, they took the Islamic values, but they put aside the Islamic name. For example, a man travels to the West. When he returned back home, people asked him, they said, what did you find in the West? He said, I found Islam, but I found no Muslims. And when I returned here, I found Muslims, but I didn't find no Islam. Meaning what? When I came to the West, there was a system of benefits to help those who had nothing. Islam called this what? Khums and zakat, mal al-mu'mineen. However, those who are in control take mal al-mu'mineen as what? As pocket money. Whereas here, they will still give it to you, regardless of whether they believe in Allah or not. In their akhlaq, in their adab, in their etiquettes, in their manner of speaking to other people, how they respect the world, how they respect the environment, how they respect one another, these things are available here. Whereas in our countries, no, you can't speak. Public opinion, the moment you say, I think education should change, or I think this person in the parliament is not good, goodbye. Hardly anyone will see you afterwards. Why? Because you don't have the freedom to express yourself. And in Islam, the most revered and respected thing is freedom. So this individual, he said, I found this freedom in the West, but when I came back to my Muslim countries, I didn't find these things. So everything I read in the Quran, I found in the West. Only difference is what? These people were not Muslims. Why didn't they accept Islam? It's because Christianity, when in the time of the Christian rule, the Christian church, now when we say Christianity here, we don't mean the teachings of Isa ibn Maryam alayhi salamullah. We mean by Christianity is the power the church held in politics, and how these powers were changed to suit whoever was in the political position. The church came and tried to suppress many things. So in the end, the people began to rebel, and anything called God they did not want to hear about. So they said, you know what? Forget God. We're going to make something called secular, where we don't need to believe in God. Nothing came before me and nothing came after me. And the effort that they put into proving this is unbelievable. Research after research after research to do what? Just to refute the belief that God exists. So now this will tell you how much this person hates the notion of a God. Because why? The Christian church was controlling the people's minds, whereas Islam doesn't control, Islam guides you. Unfortunately, we find Muslims today who try to control you. But true Islam is about guidance. In the Quran, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? This is the book in which there is no doubt, a guidance. Not a mind control machine. No, a guidance. Islam came forward with a book and not a sword. Whereas we find people come after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they say, yes, expansion, expansion, expansion. And when they go for this expansion, they haven't even carried the Quran with them. All they carried was their swords. If they truly came forward and taught the people what Islam was really about, I can guarantee you without any doubt that the people would have turned to Islam. Why? Because Sayyidat Nisa al-Alameen, Fatima al-Zahra alayha salamullah, sallu ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. What does she say when the Khilafah was taken from Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah? She says, because of what you did, you will introduce Islam in such a way where when a non-Muslim child goes missing, the world will stand up and it won't sit down until that child is found. And when a Muslim child goes missing, nobody turns their eyes. And this is exactly what's happening in Palestine right now. For 6 days, and nobody's done anything. Whereas one child went missing in Spain, and we see her pictures in the newspaper, and until now people are still talking about it. Fatima Zahra alayhi salamullah told the truth. She said, because the way you will represent Islam to the people. If Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah represented Islam and not somebody else, we don't need to think of possibilities because we saw truth. When a man comes up to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah, he sees his akhlaq and his adab, the way he treats people. He says, are you Ali? He says, yes, I am. He says, ashhadu anna la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa ashhadu annaka anta you, Aliyun waliyullah. I bear witness. Why? Because you are the exact split image of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But then you have people who turn around and say, yeah, we believe in Ali ibn Abi Talib, we believe in Ali ibn Abi Talib, we believe in Ali ibn Abi Talib. However, he's the fourth. Even though what? All the books say that Ali was the most knowledgeable, most pious, most just, most patient, and most loving and caring towards the Muslims. So much so that when people came and they tried to mock Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah, they wanted him to get up and fight. Why? Because they want to spread fitna. However, they were short-sighted. Ali ibn Abi Talib is looking into the far future. If we fight today, what's going to happen to Islam? So they come up to him and they say, well, if you are truly the Khalifa, why don't you fight for this position? What does he say? He gives them an example of 2 women who came to Sulaiman alayhi salamullah. Now Sulaiman, as a prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him with many things. One of those things was wisdom. And he was a pious and a very just person. So 2 women came to him, both of them brought forward, the 2 of them were arguing about a child. The child in dispute. One says, he's my son. The other one says, no, he's my son. So Sulaiman alayhi salamullah, with his stick, he drew a circle in the sand. And he said, put the child in the middle. Now each woman grabs an arm. And I want you to pull. The one who pulls him out gets to keep him. So one woman begins to pull with all her strength. The other one lets go of him. So he said, why did you let go of him? She said, he's my son. When I saw her pull, and if I pull, he will get hurt. I would rather she keep him than me hurt him. So he said, only a mother can care like that for her son. So indeed, you are the mother of this child. Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah, he says, I care for Islam more than that mother cared for her child. If I fight and they fight, how many people will die? If I fight and they fight, what will be the state of Islam? That's how much I care for Islam. So Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah, hey, what is he trying to say? Is that I will guide them when they need my guidance. But I will not fight for them. I will not fight. He also says in another occasion, he says, we will not fight for that which has been taken from us. We won't regain it by force. However, we shall speak out of the injustice which has been done to us in every given opportunity. Now, why was this injustice done to Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salamullah? To truly understand, we need to look at what came before Islam. The grandfather of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was called Abdul Manaf. Al-Manaf means the high. So Abdul Manaf means what? The slave or the servant of the high. Of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Abdul Manaf had 4 children. From these children we have there's different narrations. Some say Umayyah, the family of Umayyah were adopted. As the Shias, we believe they were adopted. Other historians say no, he was the actual child of Abdul Manaf.